Across the United States, millions of adults over the age of 50 wake up every morning following what they believe is the ultimate health routine. They buy giant bags of chia seeds at Costco, stir them into morning water, or sprinkle them over oatmeal, convinced this daily habit will finally melt away their stubborn midsection. They are natural, loaded with fibre, and recommended by countless morning television hosts and wellness bloggers. But here is the stark biological reality that mainstream health media ignores. In America today, over 70% of adults over 50 suffer from abdominal obesity, and thousands who consume chia seeds religiously every day see zero change in their waistlines. The scale stays frozen, and their pants fit just as tightly. Why? Because chia seeds, while nutritious, lack the bioactive power needed to target visceral fat, the deep, dangerous abdominal fat that wraps around your internal organs. Chia seeds might slightly curb appetite, but they do nothing to correct the age-related insulin resistance and hormonal shifts affecting men and women over 50. Here at Apex Longevity, our mission is to provide you with clinical blueprints to optimize your biology. In today's protocol, we are exposing why chia seeds fail for targeted belly fat loss after 50 and revealing a 2-seed clinical synergy proven in 45 randomized controlled trials to lower fasting insulin, rebalance aging hormones in both men and women, and actively burn visceral fat while you sleep.
To eliminate stubborn belly fat after age 50, you must understand why the body hoards it. According to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, metabolic slowdown is rarely about age itself. It is about cellular mechanics. There are 2 types of fat in your midsection. Subcutaneous fat is the soft tissue you can pinch right under your skin. It is cosmetically frustrating, but biologically secondary. The true threat is visceral fat. This toxic adipose tissue sits deep within your peritoneal cavity, crowding your liver, pancreas, and heart. In American adults over 50, visceral fat functions like an active endocrine organ, releasing inflammatory proteins into your portal vein, driving up blood pressure, and forcing your primary care physician to warn you about rising HbA1c levels. For American men over 50, a waist circumference exceeding 40 inches, and for women exceeding 35 inches, is a clinical red flag for metabolic syndrome. Visceral fat is locked inside a metabolic cellular vault, and the key that locks it is insulin. Decades of consuming the standard American diet, processed carbohydrates, hidden sugars, and frequent snacking keep baseline insulin elevated. When circulating insulin remains high, your fat cells receive a non-negotiable chemical instruction: store fat, never burn it. This is why traditional American dieting and calorie restriction fail after 50. If your insulin remains high, cutting calories simply drains your energy and degrades your muscle tissue, while your body preserves its visceral fat reserves. To unlock the vault, we must use targeted nutraceutical agents that force insulin down and restore cellular sensitivity. Agent number 1. Freshly ground flaxseed. While the wellness world obsessively promotes chia seeds, clinical science points directly to flax seeds for age-related metabolic dysfunction. A major meta-analysis evaluating 45 separate randomized controlled trials across thousands of participants published clear findings. Flaxseed supplementation produced statistically significant reductions in body weight, body mass index, and, specifically, waist circumference. Flax seeds accomplish what chia seeds cannot because they target the specific hormonal shifts that hit men and women over 50. For women navigating postmenopause, declining estrogen levels trigger an immediate shift in body fat distribution, moving fat away from the hips and directly into the deep abdomen. Flax seeds contain the highest concentration of lignans of any plant on Earth, up to 800 times more than other seeds. Lignans are specialized phytoestrogens that bind to estrogen receptors, modulating hormonal activity and signaling the body to halt visceral fat storage. For men over 50 experiencing age-related testosterone decline, andropause, rising estrogen ratios relative to testosterone creates stubborn lower belly accumulation. The lignans in flax seeds help regulate aromatase activity, supporting a healthier testosterone to estrogen balance. Additionally, flax seeds provide concentrated alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that cools systemic arterial inflammation, allowing insulin receptors to function correctly again. However, you must observe this mandatory clinical rule. You must never consume whole flax seeds. The human digestive tract cannot break down the tough outer silica shell. Whole seeds will pass through your system completely intact without releasing a single lignan or omega-3 molecule. They must be freshly ground. Agent number 2, Fenugreek, Trigonella funum greecum. While ground flaxseed tackles systemic inflammation and hormonal dysregulation, Fenugreek directly addresses the biggest metabolic hurdle in the American lifestyle: the evening glucose spike. In the United States, dinner is typically the largest meal of the day, often rich in dense carbohydrates and consumed late in the evening before hours of sedentary television viewing. This habit creates a massive glucose wave right before bed, forcing the pancreas to secrete high levels of insulin that remain in the bloodstream all night. Fenugreek targets this exact mechanism through a unique soluble fiber called galactomannan, which makes up nearly 45% of the seed's total structure. When consumed prior to a meal, galactomannan forms a viscous, protective gel matrix along the wall of the small intestine. This matrix acts as a biological speed bump, dramatically slowing down the rate at which carbohydrates are broken down and absorbed into your blood. Instead of a sharp glucose spike that triggers an emergency insulin response, sugar enters your bloodstream in a slow, controlled stream. Your pancreas requires significantly less insulin to manage the meal. Furthermore, clinical studies demonstrate that active compounds in fenugreek stimulate AMP-activated protein kinase, AMPK, your cell's master metabolic sensor, ordering your mitochondria to burn fatty acids for fuel rather than storing them in the liver. The fundamental flaw of the chia seed trend is that it relies on a single food at a single moment in the day. The Apex dual seed protocol works because it creates a continuous, 24-hour metabolic advantage tailored specifically for adults over 50. By pairing morning ground flaxseed with evening fenugreek, you create a dual-window biological attack. The morning window, ground flaxseed, establishes your daily hormonal and inflammatory baseline. The combination of lignans, soluble mucilage fiber, and ALA suppresses morning cortisol spikes, stabilizes midday cravings, and improves cellular insulin sensitivity throughout your active hours. The evening window, fenugreek, protects your overnight physiology. When you blunt your dinner's glucose impact using fenugreek, circulating insulin drops back to baseline levels shortly after you go to sleep. This evening drop in insulin is critical. During deep sleep, your brain releases human growth hormone, HGH, which is a powerful driver of fat breakdown, lipolysis, and cellular repair. However, HGH and insulin are biological antagonists. If insulin is high, HGH cannot burn fat. By keeping nighttime insulin low, you allow HGH to access and burn deep visceral fat for 8 continuous hours while you sleep. To achieve measurable reductions in waist circumference and visceral adiposity, precision in execution is non-negotiable. Here is your official Apex Dual Seed Execution Blueprint. Phase 1. The Morning Protocol. Take 2 level tablespoons, approximately 30 grams, of freshly ground organic flaxseed every morning. Blend it into a protein smoothie, stir it into a cup of unsweetened Greek yogurt, or mix it into 8 ounces of water. Consume it within 15 minutes of grinding, to prevent the delicate omega-3 fatty acids from oxidizing. Phase 2. The Evening Protocol. Take 1 level teaspoon, approximately 5 grams, of raw fenugreek seeds in the morning and soak them in 4 ounces of water for 10 to 12 hours. Exactly 20 minutes before your dinner, chew the softened seeds thoroughly and drink the remaining water. Clinical taste note. Fenugreek has a distinct, bitter herbal taste due to its high concentration of active saponins. If you find the raw soaked seeds unpalatable, substitute with a standardized fenugreek seed extract supplement, providing 500 to 1,000 milligrams, taken 20 minutes before your evening meal. Before starting this protocol, take an accurate baseline measurement of your waist with a tape measure level with your belly button. Follow this routine consistently for 30 days. Monitor how your energy stabilizes, how late-night sugar cravings disappear, and how your body begins to shift out of storage mode. Stop relying on generic wellness trends that yield no clinical results. Take control of your cellular biology. If you found this clinical breakdown valuable, hit the like button right now. Share this video with a friend or family member who wants to optimize their health, and subscribe to Apex Longevity for more evidence-based biological blueprints. Stay disciplined, and we will see you in the next protocol.